So streaming, we have to talk about Citadel.
Go for it.
I've gone to great lengths to find this backdrop, which is from Citadel. I think, because I can't really remember it, but it's Citadel, right? Okay, so Amazon's spending a lot of money at the moment. They bought Bond, right? And then they got the most expensive TV show of all time, which was Rings of Power. And then they made Citadel. And they haven't just made Citadel. I think they're planning on doing 3 different shows in different languages in different continents, and some other spin-off stuff, probably Citadel Origins. And they invested a lot of money in this. This is the second most expensive show, and I think Rings of Power is like 52 million an episode, and this is 50 million. So the difference is minimal. It's a ridiculous amount of money that they've thrown at this show. The Russo brothers are kind of tangentially involved. I mean, they've stuck their names on it to give it some credibility, but also they kind of swooped in to try and fix it because it probably looked even worse before. And they've made some interesting casting choices as well, because they've got, I was going to call him John, but he isn't John. He's Richard Madden. And they've got Priyanka Chopra Jonas. I can't get used to calling her that. Anyway. So they've got those two. It's not the star power that a 300 million, 50 million an episode flagship, TV franchise thing needs. But interestingly,
Rings of Power had Lenny Henry. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but right? Rings of Power has franchise cachet, doesn't it? Rings of Power could have anyone in it.
The star is the IP, as opposed to yes.
Was there any famous people in Rings of Power except for Lenny Henry?
Morph
Clark, but I wouldn't call her like an A-lister. She's good.
Well, no, she's no A-lister, but
I think things like that, things like a lot of the Star Wars stuff, they don't need star power, do they? They've got
very true.
They've got
the IP.
Yeah, they have. Whereas, what the hell is Citadel? I mean, so they're trying to make it ground up, fine, but don't cast.
Well, what's it about, Kaz? I mean, I know I've read you.
Right. Okay. So it is about just about everything else you've ever seen to do with spies, isn't it? It's a couple of spies bickering who kind of work together, and they're both the best of the best of the best. Elite ninja spies don't work for any one country. These are the spies who come in as like global peacekeepers to fix things beyond the realms of nations. They are Citadel.
So it's a Spies Like Us reboot.
So you got these two chumps on a train, and they're the best of the best. Obviously, they're looking for some target, and they're also arguing because they kind of like each other. They kind of maybe used to have a thing, don't have a thing anymore. Now they just talk nonsense at each other, and it doesn't work. Zero chemistry, great. Both think they're amazing. They're not really. He spends 10 minutes getting his ass handed to him in a bathroom for no reason other than to enable her to...
I'm assuming that was for a fight.
Yeah.
Just qualify that, Kaz.
No, I don't need to, other than for your mind. Just while like Priyanka Chopra gets to have an exposition conversation with it turns out that someone's out for Citadel. And boom. 8 years later, like that's how it starts. And the premise is that someone wiped out Citadel. The bad guys still need to be presumably hunted. And 8 years later, these two people, given that they're on the poster, who survived the shenanigans at the start of the episode, have to figure out what their lives once were and maybe go back and... I mean, Jesus, they lost me at 8 years later. Like, really? Oh, really? You look the same, and you've got a wife, and I don't care about her because... So anyway, it's
money
well
spent.
It's very derivative. The action is moderately entertaining. Some of the fight scenes are okay. I mean, bearing in mind I watched Ghosted like a week earlier. This was better, and no
high praise.
Yeah, exactly. Stanley Tucci's great in it, and so they just shove him out the door at the end of the first episode because he's just cracking. He executes 3 people and with a smile on his face, has great lines, knows the perfect delivery, takes down everybody around him in a very witty fashion, and he just outshines, particularly the 2 leads. So they're like, no, Stan, we can't be doing this on a regular. You got to go and sit in that room until we're ready for you to come out.
Yeah,
So
to the very last episode.
yeah, so it's a bit of a shame there. Some of the fighting's okay. Some of the other characters are okay. The main 2 don't have anything going for them. Actually, Priyanka Chopra is more convincing in action, which I never thought I'd say, but she seems an interesting protagonist in terms of her fighting to follow, other than the fact that obviously she has to face off against people who are 6 foot tall and twice as heavier as her and jump in the air and headbutt them, and you're like, that I'm not going to do that. So like, don't. But we're 2 episodes in, 6 episodes. I don't know what's going to happen in the other 4. Well, actually, I do, because they showed a little clip at the end of the 2 episodes that shows you everything that's going to happen. But it's very familiar TV. I can't get over the 300 million, and I can't endorse it. I watch a lot of trash. I'd watch like a straight-to-video Steven Seagal movie that was made for 16 million, 15 and a half of which went into his latest jacket. And it's I know it's trash, and so I can be entertained by the nonsense I'm watching without feeling too guilty. 300 million, what are you guys playing at? The train's not even real. What are you doing? Just like, doesn't even look like they've spent money on making a real train out of effects. It just looks like, anyway,